What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for AEW on TBS review for September the 28th, 2022. I hope everyone in Florida is safe and out of the way of the hurricane. I hope everyone's going to be good there. I know we had some, like Tony Khan did make it for those who work in AEW, not mandatory if you lived in the Florida area to not be there. Maybe that show was affected tonight. Maybe it's Friday's Rampage is also affected as well. But tonight we still had a pretty good show. But I will say, with Saraya making her, like, talking for the first time on the show tonight, it did not do her any favors. We'll talk about that later. We had the Chris Jericho Appreciation Society, the Jericho Appreciation Society, celebrating the Ring of Honor Championship celebration win for Chris Jericho last week. Also, Bryan Danielson took on Matt Menard from the JAS. And we had Bandito taking on Chris Jericho in the main event for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And Juice Robinson makes his AEW debut as he took on Jon Moxley in an eliminator tournament, eliminator match. If he would win, he would get Jon Moxley next week in Washington, D.C. And of course, on Tuesday night in 3 weeks, I think it is. 3 weeks, right? Tuesday night in 3 weeks, on the 18th, where we get, of course, Hangman Adam Page versus Jon Moxley. So we have Chris Jericho, then the Jericho Appreciation Society all come into the ring wearing these like Purple Crush or Grape Crush velvet suits, every single one of them. It looked ridiculous. They come out, they have their words, and then Daniel Garcia, like they had Luigi Primo in the ring. The pizza man from New York bringing the New York pizza to Philadelphia, which got a lot of people booed and pissed off, and they want pizza. Jericho said no. He's like, he has this piece, then he goes, like, turns to Daniel Garcia and is like, "You're the pure champion. You're awesome. You're great. So I got you this gift." And it was a purple bucket hat. And Jericho puts it on Garcia's head, and he punches Luigi. He just takes it and throws it down, punches Luigi Primo out, and punches the lights out. Gets on the mic and says, "You know what? I've had enough of this. I didn't expect. This is not how I envisioned my life being, coming here and being in this entire JAS thing." So he's about to say what he needs to tell Jericho, and Jericho tells him to, and puts his hand over the mic and is like, "You better, choose your words wisely, because are you a wrestler or a sports entertainer? Because if you say the wrong thing and you're not on our side anymore, I'm gonna have to take you out." Before he can do anything, here comes Bryan Danielson, who is like, "Dude, you are basically trying." It sounds like Jericho is trying to tell Daniel Garcia what he can and cannot do. And then he's like, "So Daniel, I don't care what you do. If you want to stay with the Jericho Appreciation Society or come with the Blackpool Combat Club, awesome. You want to stay with them, come with us, team with them, team with us, back and forth." And then, of course, Jericho's like, "Danielson, shut the hell up. I'm tired of you trying to poach my dude. This guy belongs to me. He's gonna do what I say." Garcia gets on the mic and says, "Listen, Jericho, we're gonna get one thing straight and clear right now. I don't do what you don't own me, and you don't tell me what to do." Then he's like, "Man, let's lighten up here. Aren't we supposed to be entertaining? What if I took this pizza box right here and just threw it on the ground? There was actual pizza in it, because Tay Conti and fucking Tay Mello and Sammy Guevara took a couple pieces and were eating pizza. So, and the boxes had the JAS logo on it, so I guess money well spent." So he picks up the pizza, everyone's cheers, he throws it down, and people are like, "Aww." Everyone hoped he took the pizza and like throw it into the crowd so people would get pizza. Don't do that, because the thing would just open up and they would go everywhere. So good thing he didn't do that. Then he's like, "What if, Justin Roberts, what if me and you teamed up together? Wouldn't that be entertaining?" And then he's like, "What if, would it be entertaining if me and Bryan Danielson teamed up for against your boy, Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho?" Matt Menard gets on the mic and he's like, "Listen, dude, When you had nobody, you had nothing. We had your back, him and Angelo Parker. Now you want to spit in our face? And then, of course, he looks at Danielson and is like, listen, dude, I should just, come in there and punch you in the face right here, right now. And Danielson's like, good news. Because Danielson was out there. He looked like he was ready to wrestle. He had his gear on and everything, plain gray shirt, of course, because he doesn't wear his merch. Never has, never will. And he's like, you know what? Good news. I just got done talking to Tony Khan. And I'm out here to have a match with anybody who wants to pick a fight with me. And I guess you want to pick a fight with me. So we got Matt Menard versus Bryan Danielson, as everybody else, Daniel Garcia and the rest of the JAS, all leave. They get all the pizza stuff out of there. For some reason, the Music Man decided he wanted to play Danielson's music again, which was weird. They ring the bell. They have the match. Really good, fun opening match here. Danielson and Matt Menard. This is a big match, in my opinion, for Matt Menard because he's still a young guy working on his craft, getting himself to get better experience, and going in there with one of the best wrestlers of all time, one of the greatest of all time, and hanging with him, having a great match with him, can be nothing but good things for Matt Menard. I'm sure inside he is just like, man, this is great. I'm wrestling probably somebody he looked up to when he was young. And backstage probably had the biggest smile on his face after having that match with Bryan Danielson. They had a good match here. Of course, Angelo Parker was out there. He did stay with him. He did get a DDT onto Danielson onto the floor, threw him back in the ring. All of a sudden, Claudio Castagnoli shows up, the former Ring of Honor World Champion, comes out there, chases after the guy, hits him with an uppercut, and then grabs this motherfucker, puts him on his shoulder, and just walks to the back with one arm, holding him up one arm on his shoulder, just carrying this guy away as if he's carrying a sack of potatoes or a sack of sand or something. He's just carrying this guy as if it's no trouble. Matt Menard immediately goes to something, gets hit with the Busaiku knee, and gets put into the low block. He immediately taps out, and Bryan Danielson picks up the win. Very good opening match here for these two. No complaints here. Like I said, it's definitely a feather probably in Matt Menard's cap. I don't know how much he probably has followed Danielson in his time in wrestling, but I'm sure it's probably one of those ones that if he had a bucket list of people to actually have a singles match with, Bryan Danielson was probably on that list. After the match, a small video package of Juice Robinson and his history with Jon Moxley, and while he's getting a match with Jon Moxley tonight, obviously back at Capital Collision, which is on New Japan Pro Wrestling New Japan Pro Wrestling's YouTube page, the Capital Collision show from earlier this year, where you had Brody King versus Minoru Suzuki. You had the first match between Tomohiro Ishii and Eddie Kingston. And then you had Juice Robinson versus Will Ospreay versus Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Jon Moxley in a fatal four-way for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. That's where Juice Robinson won it. And eventually, of course, he had appendicitis, was stripped of the title. Will Ospreay became the rightful champion. And that led all the way into the G1 Climax last month, which, I don't even get into that right now. But yes, there's a lot of history between these guys. They came up in the PC together a bit. They used to be friends and everything. Jon Moxley's first match in New Japan Pro Wrestling was against Juice Robinson for the IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. That was the night. Juice Robinson showed up for that match, cut his hair off, which apparently nobody and none of the higher ups in New Japan knew ahead of time. So he didn't make any of them happy. And yeah, so we got that match coming later in the night. MJF was to have a promo, but Wheeler Yuta makes his way down and says that he has a serious problem, which is the fact that not because the firm attacked him or anything else, it's the fact that you put your hands on Tony Schiavone, who's done more for AEW than MJF ever will. He believes actions have consequences, so he should come down and fight him, but he knows Max likes to run and hide. He demands him to come out, take the ass kicking that he deserves, and MJF does appear. Now, during this promo, he'd had a little bit of a voice crack, so I'm like, oh, Wheeler, you're hurting yourself, man. This was not, Wheeler Yuta, he's nowhere close to being on the same level promo wise as an MJF. He's got a ways to go before he gets any better. So yeah, MJF comes out and pretty much just says this entire segment. I'm sorry, but yeah, this was like I know they're trying to bide his time to get him to the pay-per-view. This was not good. Wheeler Yuta, people like Wheeler Yuta. There's no reason you want to put Wheeler Yuta against an MJF right now. What are you thinking, Tony? MJF and Tony, like, it's just, I don't know. I do not know what they are doing, why they would, like, I know we're getting a pay-per-view, not a pay-per-view, but a match against these two next week. MJF, of course, tells them give up the hometown boys, then trashes to Philadelphia. And he calls Shivani a fat old prick who will do nothing as he is a coward. He gives Yuta credit for not being a coward as they've wrestled in the indies. And he makes Yuta as one of the best in the world. And he says Yuta made a mistake by going toe-to-toe with Daddy on the microphone last week. So he had to put Yuta on a timeout and spank him. He says Yuta has taken a lot of TV time for the biggest draw in AEW. And he says he doesn't care. As he's at 26, he makes more money than everyone in this town and everyone watching at home. Yuta cuts him off and says he doesn't care. And if he doesn't want to fight him in the ring, he will leave MJF in a pool of blood on Broad Street. He heads out of the ring, but Colton and Austin Gunn are brought in and says he will see him next week and has Austin Gunn say MJF is better than you and you know it, and that was that. Again, I mean, it wasn't as bad for Wheeler Yuta as last week where he just got completely eviscerated by MJF on the mic. But this was not bad. This was not good. Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson for the Eliminator, a chance to face Jon Moxley next week for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. I'm not a big fan of Eliminator matches. I don't like seeing champions being on TV with a possibility that if you lose, you have to put your title on the line against X, Y, and A, B, or C. So why the hell would I want to see that? Why? Why can't you just have Jon Moxley versus Juice Robinson? Doesn't have to be an eliminator. Why are we doing that? Moxley is making his entrance when Juice Robinson, who's already made his entrance, attacks him and launches him in the guardrail. Gives him too much time when he gets into the ring. He throws him in the ring after beating him up and just sits there and poses. So it's like, yeah, as the crowd actually is booing this guy. Like, they didn't seem to care. When Juice came out, the crowd did not care about Juice Robinson. But as soon as he attacked Jon Moxley, people were booing the shit out of him for a bit. He just said, soaking in them boos, like, yeah, I got your boy. You like Jon Moxley, but I'm gonna make you hate me. So they have this match going on. Of course, Jon Moxley, of course, in 2019, in their first match, bit Juice Robinson, and he still remembers that. So he decided, I'm gonna get to a seat tonight, and decided to bite him. Jon Moxley gets thrown over. This was weird. Like, Jon Moxley loves the blade, I guess, or something, but gets thrown over the desk, over the ringside, the timekeeper's area table. The table doesn't go over with him. He just goes over the table, comes back up, and is bleeding. Like, dude, why the fuck would you blade in that spot? Oh, looks like the ring bell might have hit him. I'm pretty sure if the ring bell would have hit Jon Moxley, we would have heard the ring bell hit Jon Moxley. It doesn't just go, like, hit and not make a sound. Come the fuck on. So, of course, Jon Moxley hits, like, death, taxes, and Jon Moxley bleeding. John, I know you like to bleed. You can do that in GCW. You can do that on the independent scenes. We don't need to have blood in every single match that you do. So they keep fighting each other back and forth, and Juice Robinson, Jon Moxley, they've had history. They beat the hell out of each other. They go hard as can be. It's like real animosity. I don't know if it's like real animosity. Is like they make it look like it's real animosity. They go hard every single time. Jon Moxley actually kicks out of Pulp Fiction, which I was not surprised because, of course, that's how it's going to be. But it's like that's Juice Robinson's finisher. Not a big fan of that at all. Moxley he goes for the airplane spin, whatever the hell he does after the airplane spin, but Moxley lands on his feet, connects with the regal knee. Right, like he goes for the face plant, And John Moxley gets his feet. He hits the Regal knee like immediately in transition, gets his leg, starts stomping on his fucking hang. Instead of going for the Death Rider, he goes in the cross arm breaker, gets the tap out. John Moxley wins. Good stuff. So after the match, Hangman Adam Page charges down to the ring, goes face to face with AEW World Champion, but get ready to start fighting when MJF appears in the box and tells them to settle down, as they're not fighting each other, they're fighting to lose to MJF. Because he is a generational talent. When all of a sudden Wheeler Yuta pops from behind, pulls his hood down off of him, and the crowd just starts popping, and he's like MJF's like, what the fuck is going on? Why is everyone just so? Wheeler Yuta pulls him out, starts beating on him, throws him around in the fucking luxury box, throws him outside, starts beating on him some more. When the security eventually pulls him off, and that was how the segment ended. This right here did more for Wheeler Yuta than the two segments that they did last week and this week with the microphone. Just saying, Wheeler Yuta's not there for mic skills just yet. He's not a gifted gab. He doesn't have gifted the gab. He's got to work on that. So this was the way to do this. Have MJF, insult him a little bit, and then later in the night beat him up. Plain and simple. Oh, Saraya. This was not a good segment at all. So the ring to get response for the fans and says she got chills right now, and then I'm back. She's asked the fans if they missed her and says it feels fantastic to be back in the ring and that she's damaged, but she isn't broken. The reason why she is here is to create change in this division. That's a good one. That's a real good one, Saraya. Nobody's creating change in this division till the Golden Dentist is gone packing. Because as long as she's in this division, Tony Khan's going to cater to her and say, fuck everybody else. So there ain't going to be no change until the fucking steaming pile of shit is off our fucking television where she belongs. Why she is here to create change in the division. She was the revolution. She will be that here, which I don't buy that one bit. Says this is her house. We get a this is her house chant from the AEW fans, and she admits that it's hard to talk as she is nervous, and it's been a while. I mean, you can definitely tell she was nervous as hell, because my goodness, what the hell was this completely? So I think all the women for the division, some of them come out. That was Athena, Toni Storm, Madison Rayne, the Willow Nightingale, Sky Blue, some baby faces. Not everyone else came out. She wants to reintroduce these women starting with Toni Storm. She wanted Toni to come forward, and Tony's like, nah, I'm good. Says she is being used to her full potential. Not there yet. As the best champion AEW has ever seen, even Toni Storm knows that's bullshit. She knows that, her title reign just started, so you really can't say that. And she's honored to be in the ring with her when here comes the steaming pile of shit in the faker. I cannot call her name by her name because she's a steaming pile of shit, and her name doesn't deserve to be uttered. She is the faker. She comes out with her little cronies, Jamie Hayter and Rebel, and for some reason Penelope Ford. We have a shiny new toy come and go, but until we earn some respect, you just got a catchphrase. Yeah, no, you have not earned anyone's respect. You don't deserve anyone's respect. Shut the fuck up. He says she is the face of the division. You never have been. You never will be. When Thunder Rosa came into this fucking division, she was the face from day one. And she even put her neck on the line, and I'm like, Soraya's, hers is strong enough to handle it. Bitch, you couldn't even handle it when you were the women's champion. You had one of the worst title reigns out there. Nobody looked good coming out of that. Nobody was built up to be up against you. And you brought that women's division so far down that Thunder Rosa, Toni Storm, and whoever after Toni Storm are going to take. It's going to take more than those three to fucking get this division where it needs to be. And then she mocks how half the people don't know how to say her name. It's real easy. Saraya. How hard is that? Saraya. Where's Raya? I don't get why people saying Soraya. It's Saraya. Dumb. It's cute, and she's making fun of her name as her name rhymes with shit. The faker says that she respects Storm, but Athena then broke her nose to write her out, and then discussed and of course, her entire gimmick for 3 fucking years has been, everybody's against me. Everything is a conspiracy against me. Even when she was the champion, everything's a conspiracy to hold me down. No, you stupid bitch. It's just that you fucking suck. That's all there is to it. You fucking suck. There ain't no conspiracy. You just fucking suck. And if Saraya was actually able to go 24/7, 365, she's a bigger star than you. She's a bigger name than you. She's better than you in the fucking ring in every fucking way. Toni Storm, Serena Deeb, Jamie Hayter, Ruby Soho, Tay Mella, Anna Jay, Sky Blue, Chris Statlander, anybody you can name on a fucking list, Thunder Rosa, are 10 times the pro wrestler you ever will be, you steaming pile of shit. Get the fuck off television. Then Saraya cuts things off and says it's good to have a boss that actually listens to her, and then they decided to make this a lumberjack match, and I'm like, things you want to go with. You want to go with a lumberjack match. Here's a good idea. Instead of that, just say everybody is barred from ringside. But you already drug all these women out here, so you gotta make use for it. So anybody crying and complaining that WWE doesn't give the women enough things to do, you just got 10 women on television in and around the ring at the same time. Are you happy now? Because that's what the best thing you're going to get from Tony Khan. You're not going to get 2 matches a night. You're going to get 10 women in and around the ring for a lumberjack match. The match was fine. Serena Deeb's awesome. I think she should have been I still think Serena Deeb should have beat Mercedes Martinez for the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship at Death Before Dishonor. Plain and simple. You should be strapping that woman one way or another. Plain and simple. The biggest spot of the night, of course, is Serena Deeb goes for the dragon screw in the corner, but she goes to the second rope. Toni Storm then hits an avalanche power driver, which I do not want to ever see this move again, because the only person in danger of this move was Toni Storm's tailbone. My God. Sweet Cheek Music is one of the most devastating moves in all of professional wrestling, because I don't know how anyone doesn't have a concussion. She hit Storm Zero. Of course, Serena Deeb kicked out of that. Then she went up top and hit the fucking avalanche power driver for the 1, 2, 3. My God. So there was that. The women's division, there was no change until the steaming power shit, aka Tony Khan's Golden Dentist, is out of power and out of the women's division. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They claim the show backstage with Billy Gunn, who says next week is National Scissoring Day. They get interrupted by Keith Lee, who points out Gunn cost them their titles, and as he says, the champions got carried, wishes them good luck. And Gunn says he has 2 words for Swerve: scissor me. Andrade's clients are all shown arguing as he tries to calm them down, with Jose telling the private party to shape up or get out. Matt Hardy then appears and says what happened week felt right. He tells them to get out of their deals, and he promises he'll be waiting for them, and they will do it right this time. So it looks like Private Party is going to be going back to being baby faces with Matt Hardy. So we're going to try and run this thing back with Matt Hardy, where it failed last time, so let's do it again. I don't care. Ricky Starks versus Eli Isom lasted about 1.5 minutes. Ricky Starks hits a spear, Rochambeau, 1, 2, 3. That is that. Chris Jericho versus Bandito for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. This is how good this is. The whole entire reason for this match was a few things. One, to have the start of this, like the continuation of what Chris Jericho's trying to do for Ring of Honor. Obviously, get them a TV deal would probably be the best thing for Chris Jericho being the world champion. Sorry, I love the world champion. I think he was going to be a great world champion in Ring of Honor. He was a good world champion, had some great matches with like Takeshita and others. But if you want that TV exposure, you want that TV deal, an actual TV deal, you got to have somebody like Chris Jericho who could play on and who's a mainstream guy. He's going to do it, and that's that. Another thing is Chris Jericho, of course, is the most dishonorable man to hold that championship in a very long while. Why not have former Ring of Honor champions come back to try and take that title from him? We'll get to the end of after this in a minute. Also, people are like, who the fuck is Bandito? Anybody who is an AEW fan who doesn't know who Bandito is after this match, people on Tony Khan's social media posts like Great Main Event saying sign Bandito after this match. What started, the Philadelphia crowd disappointed me tonight. They were dead in 95% of this show tonight. They just didn't seem to fucking care. Except for the Jericho thing at the beginning, Jon Moxley and Juice Robinson for the most part. And the main event, halfway through the main event, the crowd, and I guess maybe Danielson and Menard, the crowd just didn't fucking care tonight as much. They just seemed like they didn't give a fuck to be there. But the match, it started out, you know, very the crowd doesn't care. And then Bandito showed off his strength, holding Jericho up with one arm while, like, he had him thrust over his head, took one arm down and just held him up. He was definitely losing that, dropped him down. Then, what really woke the crowd up, he puts Jericho up in a delayed vertical suplex. And he's holding it. And the crowd is counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 29, 20, 30, 31, 32, 40, 41. Like, he's holding them up for like a minute. The crowd went from just, counting, to standing on their fucking feet for this match. Chris Jericho taking this match was to help Bandito. If Ring of Honor is coming back soon and you got someone like Bandito who's going to be a part of Ring of Honor, hopefully so, Chris Jericho wants to give this guy, Chris Jericho pretty much was like, he got his moves in and got a couple things in here, but it was take everything Bandito has and get everything that Bandito has over. And they did that. And Bandito went from, who the fuck is Bandito, to, hey Tony, sign Bandito. That's what this match did. Great job by Chris Jericho for taking this match and putting Bandito over like this. The last time something like this happened for Bandito was All In 2018 when Bandito was in the main event against the Golden Elite with Rey Mysterio and Rey Fenix, and the Bucks gave Bandito everything, let him go and get everything, and that got Bandito his job at Ring of Honor. This is Chris Jericho knowing that Bandito is a world-class talent and not everybody knows who Bandito is, and going, we're going to present you this guy, and the crowd went from, it's a match, cool, to, oh my god, and the crowd went from, to Bandito, 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 up until the end of the match. Of course, Chris Jericho pulled, like, the way Chris Jericho won dishonorably this week was he pulled the mask down far enough to where the top of his mask covered his eyes. No Judas effect, which I thought was going to be how the match ended, but he got him into the Lion Tamer, and Bandito, of course, had to tap out. So Chris Jericho retained the championship. Very good match. But after the match, he tells Bobby Cruz to come in to the ring. Bobby Cruz announces what he says, and Jericho wants to have the microphone held up. And he says, the Ring of Jericho has begun, and he claims he will destroy its legend, he will desecrate Ring of Honor, and he will beat every great champion that's held this Ring of Honor world title. Does that include CM Punk? I mean, it should. And he will beat every great champion, and he challenges Bryan Danielson to a match in Canada on August the 12th, I think it was. October the 12th. So, 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks from now, we have a Ring of Honor World Championship match. And he will destroy every Ring of Honor commentator, referee, and ring announcer. Bobby Cruz is like, what the fuck does he mean? Jericho turns to Bobby Cruz, punches him in the gut, and then hits him with a Judas effect, and Bobby Cruz falls down like he died. Jericho holds the championship up to end the show. Like I said, this was a very mixed show. It was a good show. It wasn't like AEW never has a bad show. I will say this. Bandito never misses. I've seen some matches of his, and I've never seen this guy have a bad fucking match. Chris Jericho gave him every fucking thing. I know it's not on the same level, but it's like when Kenny Omega had his first match with Alan Angels back during the pandemic era, and gave him more than anybody could have ever, expected him to do, and got that match pretty much got Alan Angels his job in AEW. I'm not saying that Alan Angels on the same level as Bandito, but it's the same thing. It's like a lot of people did not know who Bandito was, even though most people in the Ring of Honor crowd, I mean, in the AEW crowd should know who he is, by the end of the match, there are people calling for him to be signed by Tony Khan. That's a great way to do this match. Overall, the main event was great. Jon Moxley, Juice Robinson had a lot of fun with that. The women still there's still no change in the women's division until Tony Khan does something else. This was just, you could definitely tell Saraya was absolutely nervous. Hopefully when the nerves fall off and she's just out there talking, she'll be fine, but man, that was very bad. But that's your AEW on TBS review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like, dislike this video. Find me on Miles at the France Club, find me on twitch.tv/the France Club, and find me on Instagram at the France Club, and I will see you guys on Friday for SmackDown. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.